So, one of the most common interview questions you're going to have to deal with is to respond to a question about your weaknesses or areas of growth or improvement or something like that. My name is Kaylee. I'm a licensed counselor and certified career counselor at the Lookout Point, and I like to share with people the information and advice I share with my clients on a daily basis. So, today we're going to talk about some career stuff. One of the things that my clients often come to me with are the questions about how to prepare for this interview, how to respond to this question, how to complete a resume. And in this situation with this particular question, it's going to come up in a variety of ways, but it's going to come up in just about every interview you encounter. And the reason for that is they don't actually want to know what you're bad at. They want to know how you respond to what you're bad at. And so you may have heard this before, to turn your weakness into a strength and all of this stuff, but I want to pose for you a little bit different perspective. You can paint a picture here of not only how you handle things that are hard for you, but even how it aligns with the company's values. So I'm going to tell you over and over again to research. It's just a part of what I think is helpful. And in this particular situation, I want you to research the values that the company has. Usually you'll see this in their about page, their mission statement, something like that. And those values are going to speak to certain traits that people have, such as integrity or loyalty or honesty or whatever it may be. And as you answer this question about your areas of improvement, what I want you to focus on is telling that story of how you are improving within those same values. So for example, let's say that they ask you what your areas of improvement are, or what areas you struggle with and how you have worked through those. Sometimes they'll even prompt you a little bit further. Tell us about the growth. And let's say that one of my struggles, just spitballing here, but maybe it's overcommitting to things, right? So it's not really coming out of the blue. But anyway, so if I need to talk to them about how I overcommit to things, but one of their values is reliability for customers, well, then I'm going to want to talk to how that overcommitment can sometimes fall short of meeting the needs and the expectations that I've told people. And so that I have learned through this to not only find boundaries for that commitment, but I've learned to commit to the right things so that I can consistently be reliable with those people I am serving. And there you go. I've talked to that reliability piece and talked about how I see it as an area for improvement. I want to grow in reliability. I want to grow in that commitment piece in the right way. Now, another thing I want to encourage you to do in this is, if you have an experience specifically with feedback from a previous employer or a supervisor, and you can speak to this area of growth using that is another good step to take, because what it can do in the situation is it also tells them how you respond to feedback from a supervisor. So if you have a story where an employer has given you feedback on an area they need you to improve in, talk about what that area was very briefly, 1 or 2 sentences maybe, be specific, and then talk more about what you did and the steps you took to respond to that. The last piece that I want to share with you in this answering this question is that they are going to be asking it for that awareness piece. And if you feel like there are areas that you are still growing in, maybe it's hard for you to spin it in the right way. Maybe you don't have grand growth experiences with it so far. I encourage you to be honest, but don't spend a lot of time in the weakness part of it. Because the reality is we are all growing and we are all finding ways to improve. And so again, go back to those company values. Own where you're struggling. Maybe you are struggling with reliability and you really want to grow in that. Then speak to that. Speak to the values they have that you also want to continue to grow in, and reference it if you need to. Say, I looked at your company's mission statement and I noticed that reliability is really important and I would love to continue to grow in that area. I think, and speak to why reliability is important. So, just to recap, research the company values, speak to how you're growing, give a story that's specific about the area of growth, but then focuses more on that second piece of how you're growing. And last but not least, be willing to be vulnerable in that. Do not beat yourself up, but be open and honest about what areas you want to improve in, that you're focusing forward in. I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And until next time, take care.